Hello there, and welcome back to episode 8 of my tutorial series for Rimworld Biotech. I'm Icon, and in this one, we're hopefully going to discover the wonders of electricity. We are only a couple of hundred research points away from that, and this will be a real huge step forward for our entire community here. In the meantime, we're going to let these things happen that we have here. Well, we get a new person offered for our colony. So this is an event that we're definitely going to accept. So Benjamin the Trapper is joining our base. So he is pretty good. There's a lot of good things going on for this guy. He's really good with animals, he's pretty good with crafting, he's also talented with intellectual things. So all in all, Benjamin is a pretty good addition to your colony. The thing here is, though, that's really important to note. When some random dude like that is joining your colony, there's always a certain chance that this person is going to bring malicious intent. So we don't know yet if this guy is actually trustworthy. I've had it quite often that people that randomly joined my colony all of a sudden started to kill people, attack people. They never succeed at killing people in my colony, at least, but you get the idea. We're not going to allow Benjamin to do any tailoring or smithing, because I want to have these tasks on Gray. I want to have all that work funneled on one person. No, we're going to bring Benjamin up as a additional researcher, and he seems to be quite fond with construction to some degree. 2 points are not much, but well, I'll allow him at least to do so. So, also Benjamin is a bit of a problematic person here. He is following another ideology, a different ideology than ours, called kleptism. So these guys believe in raiding and in animal personhood. Animals have the same rights as our people do. So this is very unfavorable for us, and therefore we're going to check on out if we can't convert the guy. So first off, I'm now drafting and undrafting everybody and right-clicking Benjamin until I find the person with a high arresting chance, preferably 100%. So arresting chance is higher the higher your social skill is. You might wonder, why the hell am I arresting Benjamin now? It's quite simple. An arrested person can be converted, and honestly, we'll have to convert Benjamin to his own good, because if he's not converted, he's going to have a mental breakdown every now and then, because we're just no raiders. There we go. So we have on now our prisoner Benjamin, and as you see here, Gray is moving on over there and doing the conversion thing. Benjamin is now suffering a mental breakdown because of the lack of recent conquests. We're going to leave him like that. It's just like that. That's why we're swapping the ideology there. Meanwhile, Vunas is tinkering up all the things that we have ordered here. Our entire interior of the base will be a lot more nice here. She's now playing at the game of Urboard. Everything's nice. So, Rolly having a little bit of a lunch and going on over to the electricity research. It's a little bit sad that Benjamin has a mental breakdown right now. I would have loved to use the conversion skill on him as well, but well, you cannot have everything. We have a couple of visitors on us, so here we go. These people have somebody with a question mark on them, so we're sending Gray for a trade, and let's see what they have in store for us. Alright, so there's not really anything on their side which we would really want to have. They have some silver, and I'd love to have their silver, so I'm selling some of that go juice, some of those weapons that I don't want to have here right now. We're going to sell the Pila, because I hate Pila, and yeah, there we go. So, just some trade. We could also sell away some of our pemmican, and you know what, we're actually going to do that, because right now, my colony is in such a wealthy position that I really don't see any problem in selling away some of my food. We're actually right now making food like crazy, therefore selling a little bit of that to earn ourselves some money might be actually a good idea. So let's do this. We're going to configure now these shelves that they work like we want to. So we can link shelves nowadays. So we have to hold down shift. I hope that works like that. Yeah. And while I'm holding down shift, I'm left clicking these. And now I'm pressing link settings. So now they are basically a group of shelves. And now what we're going to do is we're going to clear all, and then we're going to allow food, and we're also going to allow corpses, but only fresh ones and no rotten ones, and there we go. But also very important when you go for corpses. Ah, well, it doesn't store human corpses, okay. So now these shelves have all the same configuration. As you see there, they all inherited the same configs there. That's a really, really useful little trick to make sure that your base is working on as intended. So those people even left a good quality knife as a gift here. That's really, really fun. Okay. So now our people, as you see there, are filtering things. Stuff that doesn't belong in here is going to be transported out and vice versa. Oh, that's really what we wanted. Also, I'm noticing that I'm running out of timber again. Well, if you're building like that many traps and shelves and whatnot, it's pretty natural that you will be running out of timber. So, here we go. So Benjamin is finally back on his feet, and we're now using the conversion. You cannot convert somebody with that skill who's suffering from a mental breakdown, so that ain't an option. And here we have now animal starvation happening. That's because there's no food for our animals designated here. So we're going to solve that by bringing up a tiny storage zone here, and we clear everything except for rice. We allow that. I do have some rice here, and this is now of critical importance. So here we go. As you see there, the horsies are eating there, and as soon as that's eaten up, it's going to be new stuff there. And Benjamin has been now converted, and now we can just release him again. He's going to be a tad pissed about what has happened, but it's still better than the situation as it was before. So he's now no longer pissed because of his ideology. There we go. But he's pissed because he was imprisoned and because he was converted. But, you know, it could be worse. So, let's put a tiny shelf on there. And we're going to do this. There we go. And storage, we're going to do the same thing here again as we did before. Just, I'm honestly not sure if the animals will now eat out of that shelf, though. I have to try that. I'm usually running a different kind of storage mod, and therefore, I'm not sure how to solve this on vanilla, but we're going to find that out. The storage spot on the ground had the drawback that the rice was deteriorating on the ground and basically going bad at some point, and that's really not necessary. So Benjamin is now no longer wielding a weapon, but we're going to give him that steel knife there. And he's now cleaning our base. That's all fine and dandy, but there's one more thing that I want to have here. I want to have another research bench for our dude Benjamin, because he's also good at researching, and it would be a wasted opportunity not to put him on some job there. Also, a big shout out to the comment there. Tail caps are the ideal winter clothing there. I made a mistake with the hoods, and that's easily explained. There are way more pieces of clothing than they were when I started out with Rimworld. and I overlooked that one. So tail caps, they are cool because they have a high insulation rate for versus cold, and they are made out of only 20 leather, so they are the best choice for this winter environment. Big thanks for pointing that out. I think I would have not noticed them on my own. So an Arctic fox is hunting our guinea pig for food. So that's one situation where we just have to step in. So there we go. If you don't act on that, the Arctic fox will kill your pet. And while the guinea pig is of debatable importance for our colony, I still don't want the Arctic fox to hunt one of my animals. So here we're picking up our bad dude opossum. He's a Neanderthal. He's incredibly tanky and very, very good with melee. So we're going to use his skills there for that purpose. Okay, so that electricity research really took longer than I thought. I'm very sorry about that. But, well, it is as it is. That's the thing with the Neolithic background. You have a darned slow access to research. But electricity, hooray! So what has changed now? Basically everything. We're going to research batteries right next after that. So with electricity, we have now access to a electrically powered version of most things. And we also have access to generators. So we have now heaters, and we have, I think we have no coolers. Yeah, no, coolers are behind the air conditioning tech, but we have heaters. So the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to set on up some power production for us, because that's not that hard to achieve. So power, and we're going to go for a wood-powered generator first. So this is made out of steel and components, so that's going to be the very first thing that we're going to make. We don't have neither nor, so we're going to carve out some of that steel and some of that compacted machinery there, yielding us components. There we go. So we also made us some tail caps, and as you see there, they are being preferred by your colonists. That's one pretty cool thing about the game as well. Your colonists will generally try to pick up the best piece of clothing they can find in the in your position. That's of course always a relative thing, you know, the AI and best decisions. That's always something that's going a little bit wobbly, but you get the idea. So another quest. So we could transport some parkas of normal quality to our neighboring town and get some rewards for that. I mean, technically we would be able to do so, but practically I won't take that because, well, I don't want to travel during winter, and those rewards aren't too appealing. I mean, the goodwill will eventually lead to an alliance, but there's one thing worth noting. The goodwill of these people, as you see here, is -10. That means it'll always go downwards from here. And if you only increase the goodwill once via a quest, don't think that this will last for a longer period of time. Long story short, if the rewards of this quest aren't anything where you're like, oh yeah, I need that, normally it ain't worth your time. It's of course up to you. It's not like that easy to say. So let's see if our animals are actually able to eat out of that shelf. The mods I'm running have a pet bowl which you can just put up into a pen where there's food for your buddies, but we'll see about that. Our guinea pig is definitely eating out of that, so I think that's going to work out nice. So as you see here, the rights ain't deteriorating anymore, and that's what we wanted to see. Wonderful. So we have another science table online, so we can now let Benjamin also on a high priority research duty. There we go. So we have now even more research going on for ourselves. That's pretty brilliant. There, we got the wood-fired generator. So with that, we have now the need to put power conduits around town. Power conduits are inherently ugly, so you want to move them wherever you can through walls. There we go. Trying to spread some electricity in our apartments there. There's of course nothing happening as long as nobody will put timber into that thing. Hey, Vunas, for some reason I keep assigning beds for prisoners and I don't know how that happens, but well. Anyways, our clothing is so good that she had no problem sleeping outside during the winter night, so that when that happens, you're doing your job quite well. Alrighty. So, the electricity, there's 1000-watt production there, and we can consume that with various different machines. Right now, we're just producing electricity without any consumption. We shouldn't proceed like that, but for the time being, that's okay. Alright. Also, we should probably bring up another nice chair in front of the research table here. And replace that stool, maybe also with a research table there. Increase the quality of life accordingly. So, the power cords are in there. So, the first thing that I want to do is I want to bring electrical heating and remove the campfires, you know. I cannot imagine that a campfire inside a sleeping room is a comfy thing to have. I just have a hard time imagining that. So we're going to eliminate that stockpile zone soon to expand our housing a little bit. And there we go. And we're being raided again. So here again, the situation is just like we had it the last time. We could now get our dudes outside there, but we might as well let our defenses do the job. It's up to you, but under these circumstances here, it's, for me personally, always the easiest way to to let the traps do that. But as you see here, Nelson, or Yorkshire Terrier, is thinking differently, so now we have to rescue Nelson. There we go. Well, okay, there's Rowley is now going to be really pissed. They killed Nelson. And, oh yeah, look at that. Sassy little Neanderthal. This guy is nimble, and nimble people have a decent chance of dodging traps. As you see there, this guy dodged basically all of them. What a sassy dude. So we're going to use our friend Benjamin here to do the regular kiting dance. So Gerbil here is pretty dead already. He took a couple of traps, but Neanderthals are just like that. They come with a robust frame, so they take 25% less damage. They have strong melee damage, that's why the poor doggo died immediately, and they also have reduced pain, so that means they also go down slower. So all in all, these guys are bad news. But luckily, we got ourselves our kite, good old man Benjamin, and Satit and Vunas will just put that guy down for good. Alright, so we have now a dead body here around the corner, but we have our disposal pit for that. Poor old Rowley now, though, will suffer quite badly because his bonded animal died. That is a mood debuff that will last for 20 more days. Poor guy. But he'll get past that. So, the heater. The real benefit of the heater is that you can designate how warm it should be, and it's also not requiring any fuel, as long as you have electricity running, that is. So, we're going to put down another heater here. That's, by the way, why I want to expand that thing here. And we have the plague in town. So, this is a storyteller event that sometimes just happens. We have here minor plague on Gray. It's a little bit sad that it had to be Gray, because Gray cannot preach health to himself, but whatever. When that happens, check on out who's your best doctor. In this scenario, that's Wunas and Gray. So first off, bed rest, top priority, because under no circumstances do you want that our dude Gray is now leaving bed, and then we're going to use the medical treatment right away. So 47% treatment, that's pretty good. And we are going to do another thing here. That's also quite important. We're going to go for doctor care, but no medicine for everybody now, except for Gray. I do this because my herbal medicine stockpiles are running very, very low. We have only 9 more units there. So I'm preserving what I have, because that's really, really important that we're not running out of herbal medicine anytime too soon. That would be quite dramatic. So we have also no more food on the horsey area. So I'm waiting on out if I have to haul out some more berries and the like or not. And the thing is, you got to keep an eye on your animals, what they eat. And the horses, they are herbivores, so you cannot put meat into the rack and expect them to feed off of that. Won't happen. So here we go. We're continuing our big bad hunting here, because it's still winter, and that means our food here will last pretty much indefinitely long. In between, we're going to check on out how Gray is faring, and as we see here, it's not looking that well. So Gray still has a negative percentage there, so that's pretty crappy. But luckily we had a 62% treatment here. So let's see. And now we're starting to beat the disease, actually. But as you see there, without proper medical support and all, we would most likely lose Gray to the plague. And we're not past it yet. There's still a chance of horrible medical application there, so we still gotta be careful about that. That's why I personally like to micromanage medical procedures like that wherever I can. Always take the best doctor and so on and so forth, because it really increases the survival chances of your folks by a lot. We also can harvest some more heal root, and the other thing we definitely will keep an eye out for is a certain supply of industrial standard medicine. That's the blue medicine, the light blue medicine, because at this point we will need a damn good doctor to get the job done. So here we have now the ping for medical treatment needed, and let's just check it out. So 66% here, so this definitely will be now enough to get through the disease. That's good. That's quite the relief. When it comes down to diseases like the plague, when you don't have enough medicine and no doctors that are good enough, you just have to accept that somebody will die. Sometimes it just happens. It pisses me off whenever it happens, but, well, that's why you want to have a certain stockpile of medicine and doctors at all times, and that's why I assigned it like that only the sick people will now receive medicine. There's really no need to use our medicine on anybody else at this point, because we just have that few doses left. So to make it even worse, our people on the plant duty, none of them has the skill level of 8, which would be necessary to plant out heal root ourselves. So next year, most likely, one of our botanists will be good enough at plant skills to make sure that we can do this. Also, now that we have electricity, another wonderful thing we can do, we can bring up standing lamps. So we don't need to bring on up lighting via fire everywhere, because we can now do this with electricity. Also, when somebody has a medical treatment on him, I might be able to tend it now, but the treatment does not expire as of yet. So it's really important to note, especially when you are afraid that the next treatment will be much worse than the treatment before. It's often quite a good idea to delay that treatment a little bit. So here we go. Immunity developed, so Gray is over the worst, and we're surviving that. Oof. Well, the plague is never an easy thing, and you gotta be careful with that. So, we are next researching batteries. That means we have now also, with batteries, access to wind turbines. So, I personally prefer wind turbines a lot over the wood power generator. I just wanted to introduce the wood power generator like that. So, we're going to put up 2 wind turbines opposite to each other like that. And we're going to put up batteries up here, and then some power conduit between the wind turbine, the battery, and the remainder of the grid. The thing with wind power is quite simple. Wind power is fantastic as long as there is wind. When there is no wind, wind power is useless. It's really that simple. So let's check out the local wildlife. There's a cougar out there, so we definitely should help ourselves to a little hunting trip here. So, because we have learned in the last episode that every predator you leave unchecked can eventually, and will eventually, turn into a problem. Be it either for, the question is just, is it going to be for your colonists or for one of the animals outside there? But judging from my personal experiences, it's always better to act proactively instead of waiting for the catastrophe to happen, you know? There we go. So, first arrow immediately aggroed the cougar. That's just how it goes. And we're using Benjamin now. Oh, well, we're trying to use Benjamin, but actually the cougar is way more interested in Bunas. Now we have the swap. There we go. Cougars are damn dangerous. You don't want to have them in melee at all costs. Unless you have somebody heavily armored or something like that at your disposal. This way, that's the safest way to deal with the problem, as we already know. So, we have unlocked batteries. The next thing that I want to unlock is air conditioning, because air conditioning is really, really amazing. With air conditioning, we'll be able to freeze our food even outside of winter, and as far as I see things, there's a really decent chance that we will succeed at doing so. Meanwhile, I'm going to expand my housing block here a little bit. Because if I learned one thing in my time of Rimworld, then it's always good to have extra apartments, you know? Be it for prisoners, be it for guests, be it for whatever you have forgotten to pay attention to. It's just like that. Alright, so we're going to carve out some more compacted machinery that's to be found in the vicinity of our colony. And the next thing is we require some wiring for that dude as well. And what's really important to note is that as long as there are trees in the vicinity of your wind turbines, they won't work as well as they could. So right now, that's why I put down cutting orders on these, because they are blocking the power production. We would be producing way more power without these, but since we don't have the batteries up and running yet, as of yet, it doesn't really matter that much. Okay, but with that, we have now the most basic necessities down when it comes to electricity. We are using some lighting. We are using, well, we're going to use batteries and wind power to produce a lasting source of eco power, and that's going to be really, really massive for us in the long run. But somehow my dudes aren't really taking care of the plans here, so. Let's see. That's because Gray is constantly busy with tailoring and all. But it's, like I said, it ain't that important. It will be quite important once we have everything completely built here, but until then, let's just leave it like that. So, now the wind turbine is finally putting power in there, and we can now dismantle the wood-powered generator. You could technically also keep it, but I'm personally a big fan of not using these anymore once I have battery-powered wind power. That's just, for me personally, almost all I'd need. I say almost because we're missing one vital part there, and that'd be the solar power. That's the next step. But I want to research air conditioning before I go for the solar panels, because it's just a huge step forward for your colony as soon as you have access to solar to wind power and batteries. That's just a very, very powerful combo. So we have again hungry pan animals, so we're going to allow them to eat some potatoes as well. But as you see there, we're slowly running out of food we can serve to the animals. So there's one trick that at least worked in the past quite well. Animals always eat simple meals, even if there is meat in them. I don't know if this has been fixed, but for now we're going to serve some potatoes, and well, let's see. Let's check on out if the animals can be fooled with pemmican. Here again, I'm usually not featuring these problems because I usually am a little bit more modded. But as you see there, I would be surprised if they'd eat the pemmican because there's meat inside. But it's not that much of a big issue either, because it's already the 13th of December, so that means there's going to be winter is going to be over quite soon. And once the winter is over, we're going to be able to harvest some more berries and plant out some more stuff, and therefore we're going to be fine. Alrighty, my friends, that's pretty much the end of today's episode. We have now utilized the power of electricity, and it's going to get us somewhere. For now, we'll keep at some points still the wood power or the fire-powered things, because they're just cheaper and wood is just that available. But all in all, we're going to swap on over to electricity now wherever we can. So, thanks for watching, everybody. Drop me your comments down below. Thanks for all the helpful comments so far. I really enjoy when I learn myself something new about the game as well, because, you know, there might be a lot of things that I already know about it, but I am always learning something new, and I love it. So a thumbs up on that series is also very, very welcome, and feel free to subscribe if you haven't done so already. There's daily content coming up from my side, and you probably will find more stuff you like there. So there's also a link to the entire playlist down there, so if you want to check on out the other episodes, or just want to have a playlist that just fires up the next episode when the next comes, be my guest. And check out the support links as well. There's Patreon, PayPal, and Buy Me Coffee as ways and means to support this channel, and I'd be super happy if you'd give them a look. So, with that all being said, I hope you had a great time, and you'll come back soon again. See you soon. Bye-bye.